Welcome to the most forward-thinking, inspirational podcast on the planet. Prepare to reevaluate everything you've been taught.
And they can tell us we're crazy, and we can say, well, you haven't seen anything yet.
Gentlemen, welcome back to the Mental Mastery Alliance podcast. I want to start the show talking about Dogecoin. Isn't that fun? This is not a crypto. This is not a pump and dump. This is not a pump anything. This is nothing. This is just fascination. I've personally been involved in Dogecoin for quite a while, and to see it expand its wings so well the past little while has been beautiful. Everyone's talking about it being a pump and dump and this, that, and the other thing. And you know what? It might be. But whatever happened to just fucking enjoying something? You know, when it rises up 200% and there's so many people involved, and you know, this coin resonates. It resonates throughout so many conspiracy theories that, like, why wouldn't you have some money in it if you're like-minded that way? I mean, there's so much that goes on in this world, and there's so much disgust and pain and hate and argument and fighting. I even posted about it, and I had a guy that's on my wall. Like, the first thing that said is like, oh, so many people are going to get wrecked. Like this is the mentality that we live in. We live in a world where people are so fucking desperate to be right or heard that no good news can ever come of anything. Nobody can have a small win without somebody being like, well, you know, pop. You know, it's a peculiarity. And if you're listening, Sean, I'm sorry for calling you out on that, but it was quite a move. Regardless, it's a funny thing. It's a funny thing because we can have fun with what we're doing in all aspects of everything. The minute we stop really giving a shit about the fucking bullshit that they tell us that we have to care about. I mean, if you think about this, there was a time somewhere on this earth, in this reality, where numbers never existed. Right? Does that make sense? Where numbers never existed. So right now we're doing math, we're doing this, we're doing science, we're doing all these kinds of things, and we're stressing about all this sort of stuff, and we're led to believe that pre-numbers, we were just banging sticks against a thing. You know, so many people don't understand that pre our civilization, there was the civilization of people that built the pyramids. And if you think the Egyptians built the pyramids, well, you don't. There can't be a single person that's listening to this show that's like, of course it was the Egyptians. I saw it on television. Actually, I shouldn't say that. There might be. This could be your first episode. You know, typically we appeal to a different audience than the mainstream audience. But then again, who knows? I mean, I don't know. I'm happy to have you if this is the case on that sense. But before there were numbers, before there was the ability to tell you what time it was, what time you had to be at work, before there was the ability to tell you how much you were earning, before the ability to tell you how much something cost, there was no numbers. The entire system in which we're based on everything that we do right now is really numbers, is time, is how much time, how much money, how much is that worth? What's the value? What am I doing with my life? I'm acquiring and amassing numbers numbers that were at one point made up, that never existed. It's not like Adam and Eve are like, there's two of us now. We're going to have to go ahead and start creating more numbers. If you want to believe in creation. Creation could be made up. Big Bang could be made up. Every single thing we've ever been told about anything came from somewhere. And you realize, too, that in school, you're not taught to know stuff or even how to think. You're specifically taught to memorize. In other words, you will know what we're telling you. You need to be tested on what we're telling you. This is what you need to know, what we're telling you. No, you do not have the ability to think for yourself. Because if you think for yourself and you come to a different answer, we're going to call you an idiot. You're an idiot if you don't come to the answer that we've told you is the right answer. So all this to trace back to the fact that at one point there were no numbers, right? There's nothing. Every single thing that we believe right now, I can't stress this enough. Every single thing that we believe right now was handed to us. Somebody somewhere told us some shit, and that's where we stuck with it. And if you ever try to extrapolate upon the shit that you've picked up, or form your own thought, or add this thought to that thought, that's called critical thinking. And that is also stated as being a detriment to science. So, congratulations to everybody that just made a boatload of cash off Doge. Doge hit 40 some odd cents. It retraced a little bit down to 30. I guarantee you the next pump for this coin is going up to $1. If you're not involved in Bitcoin or crypto, don't worry about it. If you are involved in crypto, take a look at Doge. There is no fear of missing out. There is no fear of anything. Every single thing that's happening in this world, in this reality, in this existence is exactly as it is to be. Anything you think you're missing is a thought. Anything you think you're benefiting is a thought. You are having your experience. There are some things we can do. It's like a choose your own adventure. I'm really hungry, so I'm going to eat. You know, I want to do this. I'm going to do that. We can't regret anything because whatever you're doing at that very moment in time is exactly what you wanted to do for the most part. If it's not what you wanted to do, there's probably a point in time, a divergent point in time where you veered off course of whatever it was you were doing or what you wanted to do. A time that you let your boundaries down for about a moment. Or worse off, never set boundaries. Or worse off, had to have terrible experiences take place to you to create boundaries. Or worse off than that, even have to go through a terrible experience that you caused yourself in order for you to set boundaries. Everything is trace backable to, is that a thing? It's probably a thing. I'm going to make it up now anyway. You can trace it back to a moment where you lost track. But at the same time, it was that track that you were on that caused you to understand that you lost track, which caused you to write the track, which meant that if you didn't do what you did, you wouldn't get to where you were, to make the realization that you had to straighten up and fly right. This whole world is so busy pointing the finger and saying this and saying that and doing this and doing that. And we're literally on the precipice of war. Ladies and gentlemen, there's curfews in certain towns. There's doublespeak all over the place. We're doing this, we're not doing that. They're telling you what you can wear outside of your house. They're telling you to stay inside your house. They're telling you what you can buy. Now, I don't care if you want to believe that this is all COVID. I don't care. It's not up to me what you believe. It's not even up to you at this point what you believe. The interesting thing about all of this is you're going to do what you were already going to do. But why do you have to be a dick about it? Why are there people out here fighting over who's right? You know, this whole thing is just so eerie. Right? We're still waiting for the aliens. Actually, I think I saw something on the news earlier that they're going to drop. The aliens are here, or they've arrived. I don't know. It's coming. It's been in the works for a while, so they got to let us know that the aliens are here, which is also just more bullshit. You know, it's just a funny time. It's a funny time to be here, to be sitting around, to be talking, to be experiencing all of this. And everything that we're experiencing and everything that we think we like and don't like is based off something that we already thought to ourselves that was to be a certain way. And it gets really confusing. But there's some deep, deep truths in the fact that you don't have to believe what you once believed. You don't have to believe what you believed at the beginning of this episode. You can literally do what you want. If you operate from personal integrity and you hold yourself high and you don't, hurt people, you can do whatever you want. It's a fascinating time to be alive. Fascinating. I mean, I was talking about war. I'm talking about censorship. Like, I'm seeing things like, I read an article that a lawyer in Australia was going to bat against somebody who, like, they locked people into their condos or what have you. So this lawyer was suing. And then the bar's just like, well, we're taking your license from you, so now you can't practice. But that's interesting. That's a piece of information that's come to my attention. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. I'm not fact-checking it. I don't care. I'm not creating or destroying it or censoring a narrative. I'm just sharing with you information that I have seen. I had some slap-happy individual comment on one of the episodes saying that, I don't know what I'm talking about. I made a simple mistake. I'm actually going to address this. On the Mandela episode 132 or 138, I can't remember. Again, I can't remember. Sorry about that. Sorry about that to the audience member who is going to hold me to absolutely everything. I messed up Ellis Island and Liberty Island. And this guy decides to listen to the entire episode and then write shit. Can you imagine? Just not doing anything other than, doing your best to like seem like a hero and drag somebody else down. I feel bad for him. I feel bad for anybody that has to write a negative review because they were so personally hurt by the fact that I made a mistake or a mistake was made or something wasn't perfect. How dare you say something so stupid and sound like such an authority on the issue? Bro, you clicked on my face. You listened to my episode. I didn't go looking for you. I'm happy you're here. I'm even happy that you commented. Hey, it's nice to hear from you. Come on the show. Tell me your side of the story. What's going on here? What's going on in your life that makes you want to be so angry? So angry to perfect strangers. Hey, what's up, buddy? Who hurt you? Who hurt you, buddy? Anyway, moving on. Censorship's insane. It's absolutely insane. This is going to be a quick episode. I just wanted to get this out there. I wanted to speak on it. It stems from censorship. It stems from sort of trying to get your point across. It stems from trying to be right about something. It stems from, I don't know. The purpose of this particular podcast, short and sweet, was I just wanted to understand or speak on the fact that we don't need to argue. I don't need to argue with you. You don't need to argue with me. And actually, before I get into this, if you guys want to be heard, or if you guys have a question, or if you guys want to talk about anything, if you guys want to address anything, definitely give us a call. 647-338-1265. Long distance charges more than likely may apply if you're calling. That is a Canadian number. You will get a voicemail, so whatever that is. But we want to hear from you. We want to put you on the show. We want to, we want to be able to sort of answer your questions or at least have your opinion be heard. Definitely check it out. I'm also going to touch on the Scalar Energy. Scalar Energy is live now, or will be very soon if it's not. If you hear this and you go over there, it'll be within minutes. It's going live. This is such a phenomenal thing. I went into it, Scalar Energy. We spoke on it a couple weeks ago, I think like 20 or 30 days ago. I have felt amazing. So what we've been able to do is tie in a link directly off our webpage, so you can go to our promotional products on the webpage, the mentalmasteryalliance.com, and you can link over to Scalar Energy, and you'll just get a free month. So typically they do, try us out, free 15 days. Through us, you're going to get a free month. So a free 30 days. And if you don't like it, there's no obligation, there's no credit card, there's no nothing. Like, you're literally going to feel great. You go over there, you sign up, whether you want to believe in it or not, it's going to be amazing. I feel like $1 million. I've never in my life run an ad on this show. To me, this isn't even an ad. I'm not even getting reimbursed for this. This is so good. I want you guys to try it out. If you like it, great. If not, bugger off. Right? But it's 30 days. No harm. It feels good for me. I'm going to keep talking about it because it's such a fascinating thing. I love Scalar Energy, Tesla Energy. I love knowing that there's something out there that's more than anything we've ever been told or taught, and it works, and it's neat, and it's real. It's crazy. It's crazy to think for how long we've been limited to our belief system. We have been completely demasculated. And we just do whatever the TV says. And then people are like, I don't watch TV, and then we just get angry at Facebook. Oh, goddamn, back to what I'm talking about. When you get to a certain point in your mental journey, in your enlightenment, in your, I don't know what you want to call it, but when enough is enough and you start looking for more, for something, when you start just seeking, right? There's a point where you're like, you're so confused in this journey because you yourself, every single person that you could argue with on social media is coming from a position that you're in the process of leaving. So you're doing your best at that moment in time to help them or to show them something, only to be dismissed. And there's a huge problem with getting yourself to a point where you are like, you're upset because it appears that you're losing friends. But what's actually happening is you're advancing at such a level mentally that you can't talk about the same shapes and colors that you once talked about. Shows, TV, everything, as much as we talk about television, it loses its interest. Like, you start seeing things in every single program. You start seeing everything, even the word programming, even the television programming. It's no longer television programming. It's tell-a-vision programming. They're telling you their vision and programming your mind. You're not really able to communicate that with everyone because everyone's like, no, man. But when you start putting 1 and 2 together and 2 and 3, see, there's some numbers made up. When you start putting everything together, it starts hurting your brain. And you'll realize that you're not really arguing with these people, even though on the surface it looks like you are. You're doing your best to try to understand for yourself the message that's coming through to you. So as it passes through you, it comes into you and you pass it out. It's passing through you. You're doing your best to figure this out. In your heart of hearts, something's not right. Something's different. Something your entire life something has changed. But you can't express that. And there are people that aren't meant to understand that. You don't have to express a point and opinion to people. You don't have to argue with the people that want to argue with you. You're here to keep your peace, yet find true peace. So say your peace. There's a lot of peace right there. But don't get wrapped up in the message, right? Because the whole purpose is comprehension. Not their comprehension, but your comprehension. You comprehending what you're talking about. And the only way to do that is to constantly talk about what you're talking about. So instead of arguing or looking to fight or whatever, or engaging in people who are trying to fight you, because there's a lot of people out there, the harder you push against the system, the harder the system pushes back. And that applies to virtually every single aspect of your life. What you're going to personally make a shift on is, instead of seeking engagement in that sense, in the negative sense, you're going to start seeking engagement in the people that are either ahead of you, above you, know something that you don't. Talk to the people that you think are the craziest, because they're going to have some answers for you. Some answers that are going to help you. Even if you've got, a firm answer, whether you're a globe earther or a flat earther or concave earther. I mean, there's a ton of them. I saw somebody post, Craig, if you're listening, I saw your post about a guy who said, what did he say? I don't care if you're something or other. All conspiracies are the same. One is everything, is basically what he was getting at. One is everything. Yeah, I don't differentiate between X and X and X and X. And I'm like, and that's so stupid. That's like walking into a Baskin Robbins and saying, give me whatever because one is everything. Well, they've all got their own little flavors. Yeah, they're all ice cream, but they all taste just a little different. So you really don't need to pick fights. You don't need to be stressed out. You don't need to prove your point. There's nobody to prove a point to. Right? Think about every single time somebody tried to make you see it their way. You're like, fuck that. But you yourself came to a conclusion on your own. So if you're out there and if you're sharing knowledge with people that don't want to hear it, drop nuggets. Point things out about the things that they like and how it is a bit absurd or a bit obscene or a bit peculiar. If you want. But don't try to change anybody, because it's not them that you're trying to change. It is you. So speak in a way that you get yourself the best interest, the best benefit. Understand that you're talking to yourself, especially when you're talking out loud. You're trying to convince yourself of something that's so absurd, which is why we get flustered and they speak from confidence. Because once you see this, once you actually see what's going on, you can't unsee it. Even though you have no fucking clue what you're looking at, you can't unsee it, which means you have a very hard time explaining what you're looking at, but you absolutely, unequivocally cannot see it any other way. You can't go back to the way it was. So you're stuck right now in an interim spot. And that may have gone over some people's heads. If it did, I assure you that this episode you'll come back to afterwards. I want to talk about, at one point, I'm going to talk about my personal awakening, what it felt like, the journey that I took to get to where I am, which is speaking to you. Sorry for coughing into the microphone. So again, on that, don't stress the arguing. Don't stress being misunderstood. Rather seek those that are already speaking of like mind, and don't listen to anyone that says, oh, that's just an echo chamber. Because here's the difference. An echo chamber is ideally two people bouncing ideas off, or two people bouncing the same message off each other, when that's not the truth. If I've got a piece of enlightenment and you've got a piece of enlightenment and we put them both together, we've now got two pieces of enlightenment. It's not arguing all the time, and you don't need to use your energy, and you don't need to allow somebody to take your energy from you. Let them get the shot. If they want it, they want it. Good. If they're starting to ask questions, communicate with them. But don't stress it. Don't sweat it. You know, everything is exactly as it is to be to help you specifically, you listening to this right now. Sorry for that. To help you get the best out of this entire experience. From birth until death. It's one ice cream, but it's an ass load of flavors. That's the thing. It's all one experience. Just like that guy and his conspiracies. Every single thing that happens, everything from the moment that you're born to the moment that you die, equates to one experience. So when you start seeing it as a whole, you don't just see yourself. You see everything that you've ever intertwined with, everything that they've ever intertwined with. You start seeing a spider web out of everything that's ever gone on at any point ever in the history of anything, and how you're tied into it. When you make that realization, there's a huge shift, a huge punch, a huge huzzah. And then you can start working in a different, it's like taking a car. It's like going from third gear to fourth gear. Soon we're going to be in fifth gear, then sixth gear, and then smooth sailing until we start hitting bumps and turns. Then we got to drop back down. But man, shifting gears is such a beautiful thing. So don't be upset about where you are. Don't be upset about being locked into anything. Don't get frustrated about all this sort of stuff. Yes, we're losing things that we thought we wanted, but those things were handed to us with the intention later to have been taken away. Because this is the experience. Because of contrast. Because without death, there is no life. Without change, there is no consistency. So we have a million things going on. And if you really sit it down and you really look at this and you look at your life, your specific life, there are a million benefits to what's going on right now. And if you take away from everything you think you heard or everything you think you saw or that guy that you think you know or that person that you think you know, just for a quick minute, and you sit and you look at your life, you truly, honest to God, look at your life, you can say, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm doing this for me. It's going to get better. If I'm not doing good now, I see it. I'm starting to see it. I'm going to get better. I'm going to make the changes I need to make. I'm going to understand and learn how to make those changes. And in the infamous words of Red Green, keep your stick on the ice.
Thank you for listening to today's Mental Mastery Alliance podcast. Let the team know you're listening by using the hashtag MMA and Mental Mastery Alliance. Want more motivation? Be sure to follow online on Instagram at Mental Mastery Alliance and on Facebook at Mental Mastery Alliance. And remember, your perception creates your reality. Make it a great day.
You got it, Pontiac.